The finish line is in sight. October is creeping closer, and the Dodgers are staring down the one question that could define their postseason run. Which arms do you trust when everything's on the line?
You are Locked On Dodgers, your daily Los Angeles Dodgers podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
It's time for Locked On Dodgers, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. We've got just 28 games left on the schedule, which means it's decision time. Today, I'm breaking down which 13 pitchers should make the postseason roster. We'll preview Dodgers Diamondbacks as LA tries to hold off the Padres in the NL West, and later, we'll hear from Tom in Long Beach, who, through our listener line, takes us all the way back to the 1959 World Series with a story you won't want to miss. This episode is brought to you by Monarch Money. Take control of your finances today at monarchmoney.com. Use the code LOCKEDONMLB for 50% off your first year. I'm Harry Ruiz, Spanish radio play-by-play broadcaster for the Las Vegas Raiders and the USC Football Trojans. Native Angelino, and I bleed Dodger Blue for life. I'm having a blast breaking down Dodgers baseball with you every weekday morning here on Locked On Dodgers, and my co-host, Travis Rogers, he'll be back with me on Tuesday. All right, let's get right into it with a quick round of scoreboard watching, because the Padres, they had the day off just like the Dodgers, so LA stays 2 games up in the division. But the real fireworks, they were in Philly, where the Phillies absolutely demolished the Braves 19-4. That win puts both teams, the Dodgers and the Phillies, in a tie for second place in the National League, which makes the upcoming Dodgers-Phillies series at Chavez Ravine in mid-September even bigger. And how about Cal Schwarber? 4 homers in 1 game, becoming just the 21st player to ever do it. He's now at 49 bombs and 119 RBIs, both leading the National League and the RBIs leading the majors. And he's passed Shohei Ohtani for the National League home run lead. Impressive. Undoubtedly, 49 versus 45, but with Ohtani dominating on the mound and at the plate, I still think the MVP stays in blue with Show. Now, speaking of the Dodgers pitching, let's talk about which 13 arms should be on the postseason roster. All right, let's build this Dodgers postseason pitching staff. 13 arms total, because remember, it's 26 players on the roster, 13 pitchers, 13 position players. Shohei Ohtani, he's a unicorn here. He's your DH, but he'll still pitch, so he doesn't count against the 13 pitchers. Pretty much a cheat code for LA. 1 through 3 rotation-wise. Yoshinobu Yamamoto, lock. Blake Snell, lock. Tyler Glasnow, lock. These last 2, if they stay healthy through September. Little asterisk, Shohei Ohtani, who won't count against the pitcher limit, that's complements your October rotation. Power, pedigree, postseason stuff. I mean, rotations in the postseason, 4 players. So for me, those are your 4 guys that are going to start games for you in October. Then you go with your depth starters. You got Clayton Kershaw and Emmett Sheehan. Both have earned it. Kersh with the experience and a great season since coming back. Sheehan with the innings that kept this team afloat when the rotation was hurting. When you didn't have Tyler Glasnow or Blake Snell, Sheehan stepped up, and there's been bumps on the road, but he has been a guy which at other teams, he'd probably be their number 3 starter. With the Dodgers, right now, he's their 6th starter in a 6-man rotation. So I would keep Clayton and Emmett alongside Yoshi, Snell, and Glasnow. Bullpen locks, 4, in my opinion, right now. Anthony Banda, Tanner Scott, Blake Trinan, Alex Vesia. No debate here. Banda and Vesia, they have been the stalwarts throughout the season out of the bullpen for the boys in blue. Scott and Trinan, even though in 2025 they've been struggling with injuries and it hasn't been their best year, you have to trust them here. Trinan, you don't win last year's World Series without him. Scott, you signed him as a big ticket free agent to be the closer in the big moments, and he leads your team with 20 saves at the moments. He also was tied when he got hurt for most blown saves in the season with 7. That's still pretty much a 2-to-1 ratio when it comes to saves versus blown saves. Guys that, in my opinion, earned their spot. Jack Dreyer, Ben Kasparius. Consistency all year long, you can't leave them off. Pretty much the same situation as the case of Emmett Sheehan. When the starters were hurt, you could use them in the rotation, either as an opener or a starter, and then they're back in the bullpen right now. You can't go without Jack Dreyer. So, at the moment, 3 starters, 2 depth starters, 5, 4 bullpen locks, 9, and then Dreyer and Kasparius, that's 11 pitchers. We're looking for 13. Here's the wild card. Edgardo Henriquez, the former catcher turned flamethrower. Only 11 appearances this year, but that fastball, slider, cutter combo looks legit. To me, his stuff plays in October. And you can't keep him off right now where you might be getting guys back soon, but I feel it's a better option to just wait to September when your roster expands instead of letting Henriquez go back to AAA. You got to keep him right now in the Major League Club because it's like when Bazooka, Brusdar Graterol, came out of nowhere a couple years back and it was like, man, this guy has it. You leave him out there. Then injuries happened and he hasn't been the same guy since. You capitalize on a young arm like this, which has a great combination of pitches, and I mentioned it, catcher turned pitcher. Does that ring a bell? All-time save leaders for Los Angeles baseball, Dodgers? Kenley Jansen. Is he a Kenley Jansen in the making? But with even nastier stuff? We'll have to stay tuned and watch. I'm intrigued by him. I want him in the 13-pitcher staff for the postseason with the boys in blue. So that gives us 12 arms, which means the final bullpen seat is still up for grabs. And here are my bubble guys. Kirby Yates, Brock Stewart, Justin Wrobleski, Michael Kopech. Out of these 4 guys, you have to pick one. And here you go. Wrobleski, in my opinion, right now, wrong fit. Too many lefties already compared to the righties. 5-4 in that bullpen, in my opinion, including Sheehan and Kershaw, who, by the way, if you need them handling bulk innings, they'll be able to. Sheehan and Kershaw. So Wrobleski, you won't need him in that role, and I feel that's where he gets left out. Kopech, the talent is there, but he hasn't shown enough coming off of surgery. He had knee surgery in July. He started pitching once again in August, 2 weeks ago in AAA, and he's been more rocky than solid. I know, it's AAA, it's the PCL, it's a hitter's league, but I feel that right now, unless he dominates in September, which it seems like he's going to come back when the rosters expand. Him and Hassan Kim are the 2 guys that are going to come up from AAA to the big leagues when rosters expand. Unless he absolutely dominates in September, I think he's out. So that leaves us with Kirby Yates versus Brock Stewart. Stewart isn't projected back until mid-September, while Yates is already giving us innings. And let's be real, he's making $13 million as well, and in the case of Stewart, you pretty much traded him for a guy that didn't have a spot in your roster in James Outman. So you pretty much traded him for nothing. You didn't give up anything of value for you in 2025. So it's one thing versus the other. I feel at the end of the day, if it's a toss-up, it doesn't matter how much money they make. But right now, Yates is available. Stewart isn't. Stewart came over in a trade, and in the outings he had, more uncertainty than solid play. So my final bullpen spot goes to Kirby Yates. That's my 13. 5 lefties, 5 righties out of the bullpen. But I want to hear from you. I'll throw it to you. What changes would you make? Who gets that final seat in your October bullpen? Hit me up on the Locked On Dodgers listener line, 279-3-LOCKED. Drop a comment if you're watching on YouTube or connect with us on our social media pages. So once again, Yoshinobu Yamamoto, Blake Snell, Tyler Glasnow. Then Clayton Kershaw, Emmett Sheehan. Heading over to the bullpen, guys. Anthony Banda, Tanner Scott, Blake Trinan, Alex Vesia, Jack Dreyer, Ben Kasparius, Edgardo Henriquez, and Kirby Yates. Those are my 13 pitchers, plus, of course, Shohei Ohtani, who won't count against that 13-man limit. Let me know your thoughts. I want to hear if you agree. If you don't agree, let's have a debate. Let's have a discourse right here. Go in the comments. Hit up the Locked On Dodgers listener line. Coming up on Locked On Dodgers, I'll preview this weekend's matchup against Arizona, the X Factors, the pitching duels, and the players who could decide this NL West showdown. Hey, Locked On Dodgers fans, are you still paying full price for gas? Stop leaving money behind. Get real cash back every time you fill up with the free Upside app. Simply download the free Upside app in the App Store or Google Play right now and start earning cash at the pump today. Use my limited time promo code SEASON and get an extra 25 cents back per gallon on your first fill up. You can make up to $300 a year just from buying the gas you already needed. At first, I thought it was too good to be true, but it's totally legit. Real people are getting paid just to make their daily commutes, and you can too. Plus, you can cash out anytime to your bank account, PayPal, or an e-gift card for Amazon and other brands. Don't let this offer drive on by. Download the free Upside app now using my limited time promo code SEASON for a limited 25 cent per gallon bonus. That's promo code SEASON. By the way, offers vary by user and location. Go to upside.com for terms and conditions. I have an important request for you. Locked On Dodgers wants to hear from you. We've put together a survey to learn more about our listeners and make your favorite podcast even better. This is your chance to tell us what you like, what you don't, and answer questions about our advertising. Go to lockedonpodcast.com/survey to get started. Everyone who completes a survey will be entered for a chance to win one of 10 $100 Amazon gift cards. Again, that's lockedonpodcast.com/survey. If you're watching this episode, there's a link on your screen, or scan that QR code. If you're listening to our show, you can find the link in the show notes. Thanks for helping us out. Let's keep it rolling here on Locked On Dodgers. The Diamondbacks come into Dodger Stadium this weekend, the first time these two teams meet since May. The Dodgers took 4 out of the first 7 matchups, but Arizona's season has flipped upside down since then. Remember, this was supposed to be a postseason team. They went out and paid for Corbin Burnes, built a roster full of solid pieces, and then it all unraveled. Burnes blew out his elbow in June. They got hammered by injuries, and by the trade deadline, they were shipping out Eugenio Suarez, Merrill Kelly, Josh Naylor, Jordan Montgomery, Randall Grichuk, and even Shelby Miller. That's not a contender anymore. That's a reset. Since the All-Star break, Arizona has played .500 baseball. They just won a pair of games in Milwaukee against the best team in the game, so they're not rolling over. But this weekend is still a prime opportunity for LA. Why? Because the Dodgers, they're throwing out their 3 big guns. Friday, it's Blake Snell versus Zach Gallen. Saturday, Tyler Glasnow versus Eduardo I Didn't Want to Be a Dodger Rodriguez. Sunday, Yoshinobu Yamamoto versus Brandon Pfaadt. Arizona's 3 starters all come in with ERAs over 5. Meanwhile, Snell is sitting under 2. Yamamoto under 3. Glasnow at 3.36. On paper, it's lopsided. For the Dodgers, it's not just about pitching. This is also the kind of series where you want to see Will Smith keep snapping out of his August slump. The last time we saw him out there, home run, feeling good. All right, Will Smith, he seems to be on the right track. He struggled badly, but look, at the end of the day, when everybody was struggling, he was playing good baseball. Now his batting average is under 300, but I still trust him to go out there and do things the right way, especially with the way that the Dodgers started playing these last 4 games that were all wins. The series finale against the Padres, then the last 3 games against the Reds, and plus, that was 13 games in 13 days straight. They had the day off on Thursday were yes, they had appearances. They had Dave Roberts had like an autograph signing at a phone store. You had Mookie Betts and his pickleball tournament. Players were all around town, but it's different being out in the wild, enjoying yourself, compared to being at work playing baseball. Yes, it's a game, it's a sport, it's fun, but it's a whole day thing. And now they were able to relax for one day. Hopefully that benefits them, helps them, even with the players slumping. But with the guys that are hot, Michael Conforto, stay hot right there, because we need this lineup to stay disciplined. And the bats have to take what Arizona gives them instead of chasing. I loved it that it was the other team. It was Cincinnati, sorry. It was the Reds striking out 19 times instead of the Dodgers being the ones with 10-plus strikeouts up at the plate with their bats up there. Let the other teams make the bat decisions. You play your brand of baseball, score 5+. With the way that your pitchers are playing right now, score 5 and they're going to win. Score 5 and you're on the right track. Starting pitching has been more than solid for LA over the last 2 weeks. Keep it that way. So I feel that this weekend isn't just about the Dodgers beating the Diamondbacks. It's also about staying ahead of the Padres and setting the tone for October, because you look at the Dodgers and the Padres. The next week and a half, they're going to be playing teams under 500. So, yes, if they win the series against the D-backs, that's good. If you sweep the series against Arizona, that's ideal. That's the way that you want to play, because you know that the Padres, they're going to be playing Minnesota, a team that traded pretty much everyone except probably their mascot away to other teams. So they have a really good possibility, an opportunity to win all three. You have to do the same thing. Keep that lead up at 2 games, and hopefully the others, the Padres, they slip. They let go of an opportunity. Let them be the ones committing mistakes and not taking advantage of playing sub-500 teams. The D-backs, they're no joke. They're a 500 team, and they could go out there, and just like they did in Milwaukee, where everybody thought they were going to be swept by the Brewers, they won the last 2 games. You got to be careful. But the Dodgers, man, you look at that lineup, Shohei Ohtani, Mookie Betts, Freddie Freeman, Will Smith, Teoscar Hernandez, those 5 guys by themselves are better than any guy in the lineup for the Arizona Diamondbacks. You have to go out there and perform at your level. Don't play down to the level of your opponents, which we saw the Dodgers do against the Angels, which we saw the Dodgers do against the Rockies. Play at your level and you won't be touchable. You'll be untouchable against the rest of the teams in baseball, and the Dodgers have a prime opportunity this weekend in Los Angeles. And plus, like I said, it feels like a preview of a postseason series. You're running out with Blake Snell, former Cy Young winner. Tyler Glasnow, ace kind of stuff in his repertoire. You got Yoshinobu Yamamoto, who's going to be getting Cy Young votes this season. You're running out with those 3 guys as your starters. The Diamondbacks, they're going to be shaking. They're going to be like, what are we supposed to do here? In the best case scenario, you get all 3 of your starting pitchers to go at least 6 innings. I know Tyler Glasnow struggled in his last start. You got to be careful with the walks. That has been a big but in his situation since he came back from the IL. You want him to be in control. Blake Snell, he goes out there with cero miedo, with no fear. He goes out there and he pounds the zone. It doesn't matter what the other team thinks they can do off of Blake Snell. He's going to pound the zone. And Yoshinobu Yamamoto, man, what an encore to his rookie season, which was plagued with injuries. But once he came back, he showed you that he can be the ace of this roster, despite already having a Cy Young in front of him, a young one in Blake Snell, and an OG behind him with 3 Cy Youngs and an MVP in Clayton Kershaw. Yoshinobu Yamamoto, he's the future of this franchise. Man, I'm excited for this weekend. If you love good pitching, this is the weekend for you. Next on Locked On Dodgers, a special trip back in time on the listener line. One fan recalls the 1959 World Series he attended, and it made me remember, and him remember how Dodger baseball isn't just about the score. It's about the memories and the people who make them unforgettable. Most people can't name all their financial accounts or even what they're worth, whether it's 401ks, properties, or investments. And when you don't have the full picture, you can end up leaving money on the table. That's why there is Monarch Money. It's an all-in-one personal finance tool that brings your entire financial life together in one clean, easy-to-use interface, either on your laptop or your phone. Monarch does the heavy lifting for you. You can link all your accounts in minutes, see clear data visuals, get smart categorization for spending, and finally feel in control of your money without ever touching a spreadsheet. After I joined Monarch Money, I was shocked to see how many subscriptions I had, and also all that takeout, it definitely stacked up. Don't let financial opportunity slip through the cracks. Use the code LOCKEDONMLB at monarchmoney.com in your browser for half off your first year. That's 50% off your first year at Monarch Money with the code LOCKEDONMLB. Don't forget to follow Locked On Dodgers not only on YouTube, but on X, Instagram, and TikTok as well. You can follow me at Harry Ruiz on X, at Harry_Ruiz on Instagram, and at Harry Ruiz_ on TikTok. Also, check out my co-host, Travis, at Travis Rogers on X and Instagram. He'll be back with you and I this upcoming Tuesday. And don't forget, the Locked On Dodgers listener line lets you be a part of our show. Hit us up at 279-3-LOCKED. That's 279-356-2533. You can leave us a voicemail or even send a text, and you might end up right here on the show. Just like Tom from Long Beach, who called in with a timeless memory that takes us all the way back 66 years to the World Series that he attended. Tom, the mic is yours. Take it away.
I've been a Dodger Blue since I moved here in '58. I'm an 81-year-old retired attorney from Long Beach, California, a product of Long Beach Poly High School, greatest high school in the nation. And I'm calling to tell you that I attended the third game of the '59 World Series played in the Coliseum. It's the very first World Series game played on the West Coast. I was sitting in left field behind the screen, and yes, I still have my ticket stubs. And a few years ago, I got to talk to Wally Moon about that and mentioned to him that I was there. His response, oh, that was a fun game. However, we didn't talk about the fact that he went 0 for 4 in that game. The Dodgers split 1-1 in Chicago, and then they won 2 out of 3 in L.A., and then they won the 6th game in Chicago. So the Dodgers won the World Series in 1959, and the year before, they were 7th in the National League. So that's one of my Dodger stories. I have been obsessive Dodger fan ever since and have a couple albums of mementos, including I have a baseball pennant that has the Coliseum on it with Wally Moon superimposed over the Coliseum in the fat part of the pennant. How many pennants have the Coliseum on them? Not many. I just saw I'm looking at the podcast right now. That's when I got the number and saw that I could call and leave a voicemail. Again, Tom Patterson, class of '62, Poly High School, Jackrabbits.
Man, Tom, thank you so much for leaving that voicemail. Yes, I have my pennant right here behind me, World Series Champions 2024 for the Dodgers. You got the LA Times newspapers with the front pages of the Dodgers first winning the title and then celebrating with the fans at the parade. And yes, mementos, memorabilia, and all those memories that come through when you just talk about your favorite baseball team. Personally, I was a Dodgers season ticket holder when I moved back from Mexico, where I lived from 1998 through 2010. I became first a mini plan holder, then a full-time season ticket holder. I moved to to El Paso, where I was working as a sports anchor reporter and a play-by-play broadcaster. And even though I was living 12-hour drives away from LA, I was still keeping on to my season tickets because I said, the Dodgers, they're coming back. They're going to make it to the World Series, and I want to be sure to have World Series tickets. Well, the last year that I didn't renew my season tickets was 2017, when they made it to the World Series against the Astros, but it was just too tough to keep on spending money on tickets, especially with the prices going up. But where I'm going with this is he has great memories going to the LA Coliseum, where the Dodgers started playing before Dodger Stadium was open, before Chavez Ravine was hosting baseball games. So the LA Coliseum, the home of the USC football Trojans, that was the first home of the Dodgers. That's where they won their first World Series in LA in 1959. And it's great that Tom, he can bridge all the fans who were there back then to the fans who, including myself, were at the World Series in 2024 at Dodger Stadium. And it brings back also a great memory for me. And I'll be a little selfish and share it with you guys, and I hope y'all enjoy it. When I was a season ticket holder with the Dodgers, my seat was top deck, section 5, row O, seat 4. A row in front of me and 3 seats to my right was a gentleman who was in the later years of his life, and he passed away recently. Alex, who, man, every time I used to go to Dodger Stadium, that's when they started with the MVP cards, where if you were a season ticket holder, you could get into the stadium 3 hours before first pitch, and you were able to watch Dodgers batting practice. Myself and a lot of fans took advantage of that to catch baseballs, to catch foul balls, to be able to meet the players, to get autographs, take pictures with them back in the day. And it was an awesome experience. While we were doing that in the front row, Alex was always in the back just watching batting practice. He would commute all the way from Pomona to Dodger Stadium every single day. He used to go, just like Tom, to watch the Dodgers at the Coliseum. Then he went to Dodger Stadium as a kid with his dad, and every single time, once batting practice was over, I would go upstairs to the top deck, buy a Dodger dog, sit next to Alex, and listen to stories. And man, when I tell you he was an encyclopedia of Dodger baseball, that's an understatement. We created a great bond, and I remember getting relationships with our neighbors. We were our family up there in the top deck. I remember Ramon and his brother Miguel to my right, Alex, Annalise, and Job in front of me, and then in the section next to me, Emma, Alan, and you could keep on saying names. And shout out to Kathy, who still has her tickets in the handicap section right but behind my seat. And it's still great people, and that's what baseball's all about. That's what sports are all about. The memories that you make, and sometimes you win the World Series, sometimes you don't. But at the end of the day, being able to create those bonds, be able to create those memories of going to the stadium. And man, I remember going back in the day in 2010, 11, 12, where it was great watching Matt Kemp and Clayton Kershaw do their thing, but the team wasn't making it in the playoffs. Until Guggenheim purchased the team, starting investing a lot of money, and started this streak of 10 plus years of not missing a single October, of being in October baseball. But man, I do remember every single time where, just like Tom, he calls in at 81 years old to tell us this awesome story about him being at the Coliseum, watching the Dodgers play in the World Series in 1959. And nowadays, we gotta treasure folks like Tom, treasure folks who connect us to those eras of Dodger baseball. And now we're here enjoying the present, and hopefully for Tom and for all the fans that support our boys in blue, our Dodgers win another World Series this year and the year after that and the year after that, and just keep getting dubs for this great fan base. And man, it gets more and more expensive going to Dodger Stadium, but when we can, we're out there supporting our boys in blue. And if not, we watch the games on TV, on MLB TV, and it just connects us to our parents, to our uncles, to the families, to our friends, to folks that we just see at the stadium, that when the Dodgers hit a home run, you're just turning around, high-fiving everybody. That's what it's all about. Well, thank you so much, Tom. If you want to be a part of the Locked On Dodgers listener line, the phone number is right there. Hit us up, 279-3-LOCKED. voicemail, or text will be waiting. That'll do it for today's show. Thank you so much for making Locked On Dodgers your first listen. If you're still craving more baseball talk, have the all-new Locked On MLB Game Night be your second listen. Every game, every night, all season long. Get local analysis on a national scale. Find it on Locked On MLB on YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts. And also, catch Pete Fox after every Dodgers game on our YouTube channel with his live postcast. I'll be back on Monday to talk about the Dodgers' 3-game series against the D-backs, where they have their 3 top-of-the-line pitchers lined up against them. I appreciate you riding with me. Until next time, keep it real. Keep it Dodger Blue.